If you feel lost, that literally means that you're doing everything correct. Stable is very subjective, by the way. You need to move. Emotional and mental maturity is a skill that you develop over time. Think of me as your big sister at this point. Your 20s are not your prime, simply just the beginning of those years ahead. And I know it doesn't always feel that way. Today, we live in a world where we see teenage millionaires on TikTok, 23-year-olds running a 7-figure business, and people buying homes before the age where they can legally rent a car. Like, we are living in unprecedented times, and comparison is at its ultimate worst. It makes you feel like you're already behind. Believe me, I used to be there, even though TikTok wasn't around when I was 23 years old. The same principles in this video will apply to you, even if you are a teenager heading into your 20s this year. So I wanted to share some more mindset shifts that helped me to reframe my perspective in my 20s, and just things that I realized now in my 30s that I had wished I'd known way sooner. I'm 32 years old, heading into 33 this year, which means I'm almost in my mid-30s. So let's dive in. If you don't know me yet, I'm just a girl trying to live her best life. I was a registered nurse, now full-time creator, essentially starting over with my health and wellness content creator journey, and I'm also a mother. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, subscribe and share this video out to a friend who might need it. I think that one of the biggest myths that we learned throughout our childhood is that your 20s are meant to be your best years yet. And I think that's just a facade that has been put onto us through entertainment, through movies, and especially on social media right now. It's so hard not to compare yourself to the success that you see online, especially with people who are young influencers who are throwing their whole lives online for people to see and gaining massive amounts of success. And I get it. Everyone wants to feel that sense of security, especially early on in their life. Maybe you're still living under your parents' roof and they're still influencing your mindset that you should be looking this way instead of that and have it all figured out before you move out of their house. But here's the truth. Your 20s are meant for building, not peaking. If you feel lost, that literally means that you're doing everything correct. Some of the most successful people, and I'll share some examples here in a second, reach their prime in their early 30s, 40s. And so instead of thinking that you have to have everything figured out right now, tell yourself that you are laying down the foundation of everything that you're building in your life. Mel Robbins, I talk about her a lot in my previous videos. She is someone that I relate to a lot because she felt lost in life in her 20s and 30s. She was in debt. She was in a lot of debt, actually, a lot more than I was in, but still, I know how that feels because I went to college, didn't really pay it off until a few years after I became a nurse. She already had kids, she was married, and she didn't find what she was really skilled or good at until I think it was her 40s when she was able to do public speaking as a profession, eventually pay off all of her debt, which was $800,000 between her and her husband in her mid-40s. And now she helps millions and millions of people around the world through her podcast, through her books. She is a New York Times bestselling author, and she's just one of the greatest minds of this century. I truly believe that. Another one, Elon Musk, founded Tesla Motors at 32 years old. Martin Luther King Jr., he didn't become prominent or famous until his mid-30s as well. There's a ton of scientists who made groundbreaking history, won Nobel Prizes, made breakthroughs in science after the age of 30. You are not behind. Success is not a straight path. If you think of success as an ocean, there will always be crashes and moments of calmness and stillness. There is depth in the ocean, and then it gets more shallow in some areas. Just like the people that I just mentioned, success is meant to come at your own pace in life. Interrupting the video here to let you guys know that I have a free ebook down in the box below for you guys to check out if you are in need of a mental and physical reset. Maybe you've been stuck for a while, feeling overwhelmed, stressed, anxious about life, and you just need a little boost in confidence. And this is a handbook that I poured a lot of love into, so I hope you guys check it out. Again, it's a free resource for you guys, and it's a 3-day reset. Not a program, but a reset. And I hope you guys
have a lot of value out of it. So go check it out below and let's get back to the video.
It's true that some people might find really good success in their lives at the age of 18 or 23, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to suffer in one area of their life. Everyone will go through something. Whatever is up must come down at one point. So the next time you see yourself comparing yourself online to someone else, they might also be experiencing something really traumatic in their life that they're not sharing. Maybe they have no self-confidence. Maybe they have marriage issues. Success is never a one-size-fits-all. Speaking of success, if you're in a job that you actually hate, but you stay in it because it actually looks good on paper and it pays you well, let me tell you something. Skills that you have that you can sharpen over time will be way more valuable than any job ever will. Skills will take you further in life than a well-paying job that is stable. Stable is very subjective, by the way. Communication, public speaking, financial literacy, creating YouTube videos. When I was actually in a leadership role when I was a nurse, I was a nursing director for a memory care facility. I thought that I had it all. I thought that was my peak, but I was so blinded by the money that I did not take into account what the environment was actually doing to my mental health. It's so easy to get blinded by money, especially if it's stable. But because I stayed in that job for a year, eventually I was getting panic attacks. I had less time to commit to my husband and myself because I was still on call on the weekends. I wasn't sharpening any skills that I had that made me super happy, like being a creative, making videos, and creating a community. Those are the things that really lit me up from within. And I put all of that aside. In the end, I suffered, and it led me to being on antidepressants. I was so depressed and I really hated where I was and the people around me that I decided to try to convince my husband that we needed to move out of Washington because I hated living there. And I think being in that environment also made me mentally worse. But that's just one example of the consequences that might come if you do not hone in on your skills that you were born with, that you maybe have developed over the last 20 years of your life. Those skills will always be there for you, and you are the only one who can make those skills into a career, a lifetime of fulfillment. And just like me, if it makes sense, move somewhere. Moving was one of the best decisions, and I'm so happy that my husband was on board. I was born and raised in Hawaii, and at the will of my parents, they moved our family over to Washington. You barely see any sun throughout the year, and I knew that that was affecting my mental health. I knew that I wanted to start a family and buy a house. I knew that I wanted to be closer to LA because at the time, my influencer career was taking off and I was making the most money that I had ever made. Nevada was the perfect place, for us at least. If where you live is keeping you stagnant, take it from me, you need to move. Now I'm able to take a road trip by myself to LA whenever I like. And that is how I've met some of my closest friends online. I am so grateful that I'm here in Nevada, and who knows, maybe I'll make it over to LA one day soon. Right now, we are really happy with where we are. You really do not know how much opportunity you could be missing out on. Just know that it might actually work out better when you have a change in scenery. And at this point in the video, I hope you realize this, but we often think that having more money will solve all of our problems. But I have learned that mental and emotional maturity will take you further in life than wealth alone ever will. And coincidentally, emotional, mental maturity is a skill that you develop over time. And this is why I truly believe that your 20s are not your prime, because before the age of 25, when your prefrontal cortex is not fully developed, you are not mentally stable. Emotionally, you aren't either. I was a completely different person before I hit the age of 25. I swear it was like a night and day switch for me. I don't know if it's because I have an ADHD brain and I grew up with a lot of anxiety and a history of depression. After I turned the age of 25, I swear my entire being shifted. I was starting to feel more confident in the decisions that I was making because I had the emotional capacity to sit down and actually look at things from an objective standpoint and see things from a more grander perspective. It probably also helped that what actually makes you feel secure in yourself, especially in your 20s, is how to regulate your own emotions, how to set boundaries for yourself. Wealth without self-awareness can lead to impulsive decisions, toxic relationships, and burnout. But when you develop emotional intelligence, your money will start to work for you and not the other way around. Emotional and mental growth will multiply your success in so many areas of your life. So let's wrap up what I just said in this video. Your 20s are not your peak. Success is fluid. Skills matter more than a job title. Moving can actually change everything. And emotional maturity will take you further than wealth alone. I really hope this video helped you shift your mindset in some way. And if I am talking to a 20-something-year-old watching this video, let me know what you really resonated with down in the comments below. Maybe you have someone in your life who's in their 20s and is struggling and needs some mindset tips. Think of me as your big sister at this point. I do so many more videos like this on my channel. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.